Welcome back to Inside Politics. We begin today a series of interviews with those men and women who would be our next governor. Our first guest is House Speaker Beth Harwell, who's running for governor on the Republican side. Madam Speaker, under the Haslam administration, the state has enjoyed record unemployment for several months.
Yes.
What is your administration going to do better?
Well, you know what? I do think we're in a great position. You know, when I became Speaker, we took on the opportunity to reform our pension program. We're one of 5 states in the nation that fully funds its pension program. We reformed unemployment and worker compensation laws. We've reformed our tort reform, creating a much more stable legal environment for businesses to flourish, and I think it's paying off.
Are we in a situation, though, where even though unemployment is low, perhaps people are underemployed or not having the kind of jobs they would like to have, that they've got a job, but maybe not the job they want and it doesn't pay nearly as much as they'd like it to?
Well, you know, I will say we are in a good position. People can find work here in the state of Tennessee, and that's a wonderful thing. We always want to help people improve their status, but I think our state is well postured to do just that.
With unemployment rates as low as they are, why don't I hear all the Republican candidates talking about how great it is and what a great job Governor Haslam's done about that? Why do they not seem to want to give him a whole lot of credit? Is it because he's not as popular in some parts of the Republican Party?
Well, I'll tell you, he is popular, but one of the things I find very amusing as I'm running for governor, all these folks saying what they're going to do when they're governor, here's the reality. They're not going to do anything that the Tennessee General Assembly doesn't allow them to do. We have a very strong legislative body, and it's rightfully so. And so my goal as governor is to work well with my legislative body.
But another question about the Republican candidates, and this includes you on your website, and I think what TV spots I've seen, none of the Republican candidates are calling themselves Republicans. They're all talking about being conservatives. Do you not like the party's name anymore?
Well, I do. I believe that I'm a Republican for a reason. I believe the Republican Party stands for conservative principles, of which I'm very proud to be associated. It
sounds like somebody's polled that in all the different campaigns and come up that conservative runs better in a Republican primary than calling yourself a Republican. Is there a split in the party about that name, or does that conjure up being a rhino, or what is it?
I don't know. I can't answer that. I will tell you that when I go out and about and I'm with folks, they're very proud of how our state is being run. And I'll tell you, we're the 3rd most fiscally responsible state in the nation, and that's something we can be very proud of. That is a Republican principle.
You're the only one, I mentioned television ads, you're the only one of the 4 Republican major candidates that has not run any TV ads with your campaign. There have been some that put up by an outside PAC on your behalf, but they were not yours. Why have you waited so long to begin TV, and when are you going to have some over-the-air TV? I see an ad for you on Facebook, but I've not seen it on TV.
We actually are running right now at the TV. I will tell you, I'm running against multimillionaires, and you know, it's an opportunity for this state to decide: do they want to have an election or do they want to have an auction? If they want to have an auction, I can't bid high enough. But I will tell you, I will meet the public and I will listen.
Well, you had several $1 million in the bank before the legislature started this year. You couldn't raise money during the legislative session,
correct.
But you had several $1 million in the bank. Now, some of it's a loan, but still it all spends the same. Why did you make a strategic decision not to begin your TV as early as the others? Yes, you're the Speaker of the House, but you may not be as well known statewide as people may think they are. And I think all the candidates are like, you don't have anybody in the race that's really run on a statewide basis before.
Yeah, Shirley, you know what? People are really interested in their lives, and they have children, and they've got soccer games, and they've got all these other things. I really don't think people are going to be paying attention to this race probably until June or July. So that's when we'll start our major targeting.
So your thought at this point is there's a fairly large number still of undecided? Oh, absolutely. Is undecided still lead the polling at this point?
Absolutely, they do. They do. And you know, right here in Nashville, we've got a mayor's race. So, you know, I'm not going to go and try to compete with a mayor's race right now. So we're going to let that play out first.
I have seen some ads for you on social media. Do you find social media now is becoming to work better to get your message out these days than perhaps the old days of broadcast and cable TV?
Yes, much to my dismay, that is the truth. I mean, I have to tell you, my children are in their 20s and they don't watch TV. And even me, as old as I am, we speed through commercials. So I really do think social media is the way to go.
You mentioned this is not an auction. You used to teach political science. What can we do about the ongoing influence, and it's growing and growing, about money in politics? It's not just in the governor's race. We're going to have a Senate race that's going to be a multi-million-dollar affair. I mean, you're running in probably the most expensive election cycle ever.
Yeah.
Should it be that way?
You know, honestly, I don't think so. I mean, this is America, and I am for people making as much money as they possibly can make, and I think with that money they ought to be able to buy a house and a car and anything else they want, but I don't think they should be able to buy a political office.
But the Supreme Court says speech is money. If it's the candidate's money, they can spend as much of it as they want to.
Right, and I disagree with them.
Do you think the Supreme Court's wrong about that?
I do.
How difficult was it for you to run your duties as Speaker of the House while the legislature was in session and still also be a candidate for office going around the state? It's hard to be in 2 or 3 places at one time.
It is. But you know what? This is a lovely state, and I'm honored to get to travel it. And being Speaker, I've been involved in every major state public policy decision. And I think that's what people want in their next governor. You know, I am no Ned Ray McWhorter. I will be the first to admit he was unique
you don't
to
look
himself.
Like him.
Yeah. But you know what? He was the Speaker of the House, and he understood state government. And this is a very complicated time, and I hope that the next governor has a vast understanding of state government. You know, in my service as in the legislature, I've served on every committee, everything from commerce to finance to transportation. I've served on all the committees because I want to have the best understanding of state government. I think I'm ready to go day one.
Beth Harwell is our guest. She's Speaker of the House and also Republican candidate for governor. Back to continue our conversation after you watch these messages.